We've got the roles reversed now. That's kind of a generalization. Now he's being specific. And, I mean, by the way, what I want you to notice is, if you think about whether you're doing individual two-part integrations between two parts of a person, usually, you know why people get in the biggest kinds of conflicts is because his statement really is, your problem is I don't see any of me in you. That's what your problem is. I don't see any of me in you. You're alien to me. And his thing was, I don't see any of me in you. If you think about how does a parent, a mother or a father, know when their child is ready to think on their own? It's when you can see that the child has thought through a thought process, that if you can identify your way of thinking in that person. Now what most parents do is that they get kids into a way where they polarize against them, just like this, instead of saying, wait a minute, if I'm flexible enough to show you I can think like you, what can he object to? I can show him that I have that way of thinking in me too. And that's one of the things that I do if I'm working with folks like this to get rapport with them. Remember, by the way, you'll notice, he kind of stopped challenging me. He kept trying to do the yes but he couldn't challenge, he wasn't like so much as directing it at me anymore, because I went and I stood toe-to-toe with him in a small way. You know, I said, no, a man's got to do this and man's got to do that. I understand that. I'm not bullshitting you on that. But he goes, okay, I see, now I know that you have that in you, and I don't have to worry that you guys are going to gang up against me. You can think like I do, and you understand my way of thinking. So if he can show him that he has that, then it's kind of like, well, then why does he select? Maybe then there's something interesting about why he selects to think the way that he does. In other words, 9 times out of 10, bias, those real basic things like bias comes because I cannot recognize myself in you. Or, number 2, I recognize a part of myself in you that I don't like in me. Because that's, how else are you going to make sense out of that kind of thing? Because especially for a person who's supposedly pretty specific, he doesn't get very specific about things. In other words, it's kind of more, he obviously is responding out of something that doesn't have to do with real world issues. He's kind of just responding from a pattern. I mean, he's just saying it because he has to say it, not because there's anything that really bothers him, as far as I can tell. It's the process that bothers you, not any particular thing that he's doing. And that seems to me to be the thing that needs to be resolved here. So he said you need to be specific about what he'd back off on. Can you?
Sure.
Look him in
He'd back off on anything.
On anything?
Yeah, almost anything.
Globally.
Globally.
Let's be specific here. Sounds like, see, because that sounds to me like you're doing what you didn't like in him. You're kind of chunking pretty big.
Well, yes, but I mean, that's okay. I mean, I'm not totally consistent. I'm just not a wimp most of the time.
Most of the time.
Just globally flexible.
Oh, so you mean you are flexible too?
Sometimes, but usually not.
Sometimes, usually not. So you're flexible enough to be steadfast.
Yeah, right at this moment I'm not.
Okay, so the question then becomes, all he's saying is, if you're able to take a step back and look, you'll know when it's important to be flexible and when it's important to be steadfast.
I think to be specific, you're saying that. He's not. He's just sitting there like a dummy.
Now wait a minute. Are you sitting there like a dummy?
I'm just sitting here absorbing, analyzing, rationalizing, figuring out what's happening.
So what's happening?
Keeping everything in a big picture.
So tell him what's happening.
We're just trying to get this item resolved a little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. You know, not totally.
What if you wanted to get it totally resolved?
I might even have to get specific.
Well, would you like to totally resolve this thing? So that he can get his master practitioner certificate?
Well, I think that's great.
Well, what do you need to do to resolve it? Go ahead.
What specific area?
Go ahead.
Not sure I know the correct way to approach this.
Well, just be specific, take a direction.
Well, like that IRS computer one was a great place to start.
In here.
He said the IRS
computer is a great place to start.
By the way, what I'm doing right now is I set a bunch of frames, and what I'm going to do is I want to see how they start to interact now. I'm going to literally start stepping back. I don't want to have to be there anymore. I'll know that I have it resolved when they start going in a direction that gets somewhere, as opposed to going through the old patterns that they used to do. So that's why I said go ahead and do it. I'm watching, I'm going to see now what do they do? Is their behavior different or do they go back to the old thing?
Okay. To be specific, what areas would cause you not to be comfortable?
You'd back off in anything.
Give me any specific example that you have in mind.
You get along with people just at any price.
Well, that's not always true. There are sometimes
He hasn't been getting along with you.
significant areas of controversy.
Just a counterexample, sorry. I couldn't help it. You gave me that one on the silver platter. I didn't mean to interrupt.
He was just looking at the big picture and couldn't...
No, I was looking at a specific thing.
So you're looking for something that says stand up and take a stand, right?
I was a minute ago, to be specific, but right now, maybe, yeah, sure.
You need to be a little more steadfast in this. Why don't you stand up for something here? Don't back off on him, okay?
Yes, but sometimes it's good to back off.
Oh, that's what he's been saying. Oh, you've learned something from him.
You can learn anything from anyone.
Ah.
You can learn from a rock.
Ah,
Everybody has to learn every day, right?
that's a good belief. What else would you like to learn?
How to get out of this exercise.
Gracefully.
How to get out of this.
Well, as we continue on with this discussion to find a way to solve this problem, we can both agree on some commonality of action, perhaps.
What do you mean English? Be specific.